I'm here at the Friars Club with Richard Lewis. This is for Comedy Matters, and my old pal,
the Billy Crystal Bar.
Billy Crystal
Yeah, I
Bar.
have a plaque over the toilet. And then there's a place. You can't buy a condom here, but you can get Imodium for me.
So, look,
Go, wild.
You're headlining at Caroline's for the
I
next
started
3 days.
Caroline.
You started.
I don't call it headlining. I call it doing. Caroline doesn't even go to the club. She watched the whole show.
But she came last night to see you.
Yes,
Opening night.
I started her first club in the early '80s, and wherever she moved, I was loyal to her.
On 8th Avenue? That was like 27th and 8th?
20th and 7th Avenue. Right?
7th Avenue, yeah.
And I used to come every 3 months and do a whole new hour. I did like 4 hours new material every year, like 3 years in a row. I taught about 12 hours, and once Letterman came, he never would come to a club. Sat in the front row, which sort of, I was honored in a way because he never did it. On the other hand, I went, he's hearing an hour material that he'll hear eventually through the next year maybe. Because I used to do it every 6 weeks. I did about 70 or 80 Letterman. So that was the downside. The
70
upside,
or 80 Lettermans?
yeah, in the 80s.
Okay.
And that was the downside was that, you know, I like to surprise people. There's comedy, most of the comedy should be surprised.
I would think, yeah.
But, you know, it was all right. You know, they like to know what they, you know, some guys like to know, it depends on who the hosts are. They all have different styles. But Dave, you know, that was after 11 years, when Dave got his show, that was the big break for me.
That's what I was going to ask you. What was your big break?
Big break was Letterman. My big break was having the balls to not quit. That's always that one break.
That's the focus of what I want to talk to you about. When you first started, did you ever face stage fright at all in your career?
No.
Never.
Never.
That's beautiful.
I never did because I had nothing to lose. I said, this is what I want, and I'm never looking back, no matter what happens. Never looking back. But what helps is having the people who were 15 to 20 years older than me. I mean, I'm best friends with Jonathan Winters now, and Phyllis Diller. They're like my parents. My father never saw me perform. Winters to me is like Picasso, but when the guys like Mel Brooks and Steve Allen in that era, you know, say you got it. And then younger than that, and then David Brenner, who became like an older brother to me, said, you know, you can do it. And through friends of his, and this is a direct quote from a very famous guy they used to call the Ear, George Schultz, he had a club Pips in Sheepshead Bay. Everyone went through it. He walked me across the street after a set on Emmons Avenue and by Sheepshead Bay, and he went, he says, you can become a star, he said. I don't like using that word.
No, but that was his word.
He says, yeah.
He said, you could become a star.
But you have to eat, fuck, and suck, stand up. And that's all you have to think about. It's the only way you can make it. And that's all I did. And I'm still doing it 41 years later.